Hello, so this is this simulation, and we've got some features right here. Pneumatic box here, we've got the pneumatic features, and on the hydraulic box we've got the hydraulic features, hydraulic components, and the electric power we've got electric component as well. So we're starting with the pneumatic components. I'm going to explain some of these features. We've got the pressure source, which supplies pressure into the pneumatic components, and we've got the exhaust, which allows pressure air to go out of the pneumatic component, and we've got the silencer, which reduces the noise at which the pressure air goes out of the component. And here we've got the end cap, which protects the component from death in an atmosphere. Right here we've got a single acting cylinder, which has just one port. It got a spring in it, which allows it to retract by itself when it extends. Right here we've got a double action cylinder, which has two ports. It extends when pressure air flows through this port, and retracts when pressure air goes through this port. Right here we've got the double threshold cylinder, which has you can see two cylinder piston attached at this end, and as well two pistons as well attached on this end. This allows equal force to be produced at each end, which is going to be high force, of course. Right here we've got the dual piston rod. You can see it got two cylinder piston attached to themselves. This allows a force to be exerted on an object that is a higher force. It got a port, inlet port and outlet port. Right here, this is a dual piston rod, which I just explained right now. And we've got the rodless cylinder, which transports load from one end to another end with the use of an inner shaft. It doesn't have a rod in it. And we've got the multi-position cylinder, which you can see right here. It's a piston is attached to the end of this piston right here. So these two pistons are attached to each other, and this is the inlet port, and you can see it's connected to the area of the second cylinder. So they both extend at the same time and retract at the same time with a greater force. And here we've got the dual piston. Right here we've got the dual piston rod buffering cylinder. This allows the cylinder to not to rebound when a force is being exerted on this cylinder. I've got the directional control valves. This is a two-way, two-position directional control valve. I've got a three-way, two-position directional control valve, four-way, two-position. So right here, these are the directional control valves, which controls the cylinder, direction of the cylinder. Right here, we've got the conservation unit with compressed air filter. It filters out dirt in the pressure air, and as well it supplies oil into the pressure air, and it controls the pressure. And here we've got the adjustable pressure switch. And so right here we've got a valve which sends signal to the switch when there is pressure in the pneumatic component. This serves as a kind of a sensor which senses the pressure and then controls the switch. And you can see right here it's adjustable. Here we've got the differential pressure switch, which measures pressure from 2 points. It measures pressure from 2 points in order to control the pressure. Here we've got the counter, which regulates the time at which pressure goes into the pneumatic component. Here we've got the rapid exhaust valve, which allows flow of pressure air out of the system so fast. I've got the pneumatic pilot check valve. You can see it got a control line right here, which allows flow of pressure in both directions. I've got the pressure reducing valve with a gauge, which controls the pressure and raises the pressure value. I've got the adjustable throttle valve, which controls the flow at which the pressure air goes, which is adjustable as well. And we've got the one-way throttle valve, which allows flow of air in just one direction. Right here, this is a valve which blocks the air going through this direction. Here we've got the sucker, which is used to hold an object. It sucks an object. I've got the vacuum generator, which generates vacuum. I've got the pneumatic motor, and here we've got the time delay valve, which allows required time to be made between two operations of a cylinder, that is extension and retraction. When it extends, before it retracts, a time is meant to be met. A set time is meant to be met before it retracts. Here is the AND valve, which allows two buttons to control two buttons pressed at the same time to control the pneumatic components. And here is the OR valve, which allows either of these buttons, when they are attached to this point, to control the pneumatic component. And right here we've got the pressure gauge, which reads the pressure. Now we've got the oscillating cylinder, which transforms oscillating movement to a rotary movement. We've got the dryer, which dries the moist and the pressure air. We've got the lubrication, which supplies oil into the pressure air, and we've got the aftercooler, which cools the pressure air. We've got the air tank, which stores the air. I've got the pressure sequence valve, which allows movement. It allows the operation of two cylinders to operate in sequence. That is, when one cylinder extends, the other cylinder as well extends, and when it retracts, the other cylinder as well retracts. This is the pressure increase, which increases the pressure. That is a pressure of pneumatic needed for hydraulic. It increases the pressure to hydraulic pressure. Here we've got the pneumatic hydraulic booster, which boosts the pressure to hydraulic. Which boosts the pressure to hydraulic without the need of any hydraulic component. We've got the stop valve, which is used to stop the pressure air. We've got the check valve, which prevents backflow of air, not to protect the pneumatic component. Here, this is a check valve with spring, which has the spring and requires an additional force to uplift this ball from its seat. So these are all the pneumatic components. And here we've got the hydraulic components, and as well here we've got the electric power components, which are all used to control the power supply. So firstly, we're going to start with the two buttons to control a lamp using a relay. So this is a positive 24 volt, and this is a 0 volt. Right here, this is a switch. We use this push button switch right here, and we need another button again. And we need a relay, drag and paste. So all you have to do is just drag and paste this component, and then drag the lamp and paste as well. And then we need a relay terminal to drag. Right here, this is a SB1. You can see here is where you can put in label. So this is SB1. This is SB1, and this is SB2. SB2. Normal open to normal close. Now we've got the relay coil right here, which should be labeled as well, which is a KA1. You can as well make it a K1. And here's the relay terminal, K1 as well, K1. Now what you have to do next is to connect this component. You can also adjust this component in order to make it look neat enough, well arranged. And this is connected to SB1 terminal, and this is connected to 24 volt. Alright, here we've got all this well arranged. Next thing we want to do is to play. and then you press this button right here. You can see when you press this button, it turns on. So this is the on button, and right here this normal close button, when you press this it goes off. So you can see this is a 2-button operation to control lamp using a relay. You can see when you press it, it turns on. When you press this, it goes off. And let's be going to the next section, next practice. So we're going to use a start and stop button to control a cylinder. So delete this. So we delete all these. Next, what I want to do is to drag the pneumatic components. We've got the double acting cylinder, and then we look for a directional control valve. So we're going to choose a 4-way 2 position, a pressure switch, pressure source, and an exhaust. And next we want to do is to double click this directional control valve in order to add the features, which are the solenoid. So we're adding a solenoid with a spring, and we add a label, should be a YV1, and here we add a spring. So this is a single solenoid 4-way 2 position directional control valve, and then you drag and join. The next thing we want to do is to drag the electrical components. Got the SP1 button. I've got the other button as well. Then we've got the relay terminal. I've got another relay terminal. So you drag and paste. Now we've got a solenoid valve, because this directional control valve has a solenoid. So it needs a solenoid right here to be dragged and pasted, and it should be corresponding. So this directional control valve could detect this solenoid and could control this cylinder. SP1, and this is SP2. Normal close, and then we need a relay coil as well. So this should be a K1 relay coil, and this is a K1 terminal. So this is a K1 terminal. And then you connect this to the SP1 terminal. And then this should be a YV1, which I said it's going to correspond with the solenoid on the DCV, directional control valve, which is a YV1. And then after you're done, the next thing you want to do is to press this play button in order to run this operation. So you can see when you press this, it extends, and when you press this, it retracts. So this is on and off button to control the cylinder using a 4-way 2-position directional control valve, single solenoid with a spring. And so when you press this, it extends, and when you press this, it retracts. Now we move into the next operation, which is a 1 button to control a cylinder. So the next training we're going to look into is a single solenoid to control the cylinder, double acting cylinder. So we've got the double acting cylinder. You drag and paste. We should add a throttle valve. You can change the direction. I'm going to change this and then reduce its opening degree to 50 degrees. So this is used to control the speed at which the cylinder is going to extend. And then we're going to add a 5-way 2-position directional control valve. So I'll show you the difference between one directional adjustable throttle valve with another adjustable throttle valve with different degree of opening. I'm gonna copy and paste. I'm gonna change this to 100. Next thing I want to do is to double click this DCV in order to add its features. So add a solenoid with a spring, we label YV1. Alright, here double click and add a spring. Our pressure source and the exhaust are already there. Next thing I want to do is to add the lubrication. And the pressure gauge, pressure reducing valve now to regulate the pressure, and a dryer so as to dry the pressure air. Then this is connected directly to the pressure source, and this is connected to the pressure gauge. And this is connected to the lubrication, and this is connected to the DCV. So we need to add another exhaust at that port. Then we connect this and connect this. So here we've got this connected. Next one of these two are drag and paste the electrical components. We could label this SP1 button. It's just a button and the solenoid valve. YV1. You have to make sure every component is connected, otherwise it won't play. And the next one to do is to play and run this operation. So you press the SP1 button, you can see it extends slowly because this degree of opening is 50 degrees, and you can see when you release it retracts so fast. So this is the difference between a throttle valve with a 50-degree opening and a throttle valve with a 100-degree opening. When you press this button right here, you can see it extends slowly. When you release the button, it retracts faster with the aid of the spring right here. So this is the operation of a single button, single solenoid 5-way 2-position with a spring to control double acting cylinder. And then we move to the next operation. We pause and delete. So this operation, we're going to use two buttons to operate this solenoid right here. We're going to add two buttons. With two solenoids. All we have to do is just to change its features. So you can double click this, and on the right drive you can change this to a solenoid, and you can add another label, which should be YV2, and then okay. So right here you can add a solenoid valve, two solenoid valves, 24 volt, 0 volt, and you label this YV1, and you label this as well YV2. Then you connect. We haven't labeled these buttons. SP1, SP2, and this is connected to a 24 terminal. And then this is connected to 0 terminal. And then you check this YV1 corresponds with this YV1, YV2 corresponds with this YV2, and then play. You can see when you press this, it extends. When you release, it retracts. Either way you press this as well, you can see it extends and retracts. So you can see it extends and it retracts, extends and retract. So right here, this is operation of two buttons to control double acting cylinder. And then we're going to the next operation. Next, we're going to the next we go into the following operation, which is a counter valve. So we're going to use a single acting cylinder. And yeah, we don't need it of this as well, so you delete. So you drag and paste. So we're going to use a three-way two-position directional control valve, and then we add its features. So we're going to use a button type, and a spring. Okay, and then we add the counter, pneumatic counter. As well, we add some other DCVs so as to control this counter. We're going to choose a three-way two position as well. Copy, paste. We've got the pressure source. And the exhaust. So we could choose a feature to add this. We could choose this. Yeah, this is the handle type, and right drive shouldn't have anything, so it should be empty. And then confirm, and this as well should be a handle type. You could also choose a button or the handle, anyone that suits you, you could use. Then we add one more pressure source to the pneumatic counter. So all you have to do is just drag and paste. And next you want to do is to run this operation. So you can see when you press this and release, it starts counting. But this is being pressed, so it won't. This is a resetting button, and this is a set button. So you press this and you can see it's counting. Then release, it counts. Then release, then it counts. You can see when it reaches 0, on the count of 0, you can see contact is being made, and pressure air flows from the pressure source to the pneumatic counter and into the hydraulic, into the pneumatic hydraulic. and pressure goes into the pneumatic cylinder. The next you want to do is to press this. You can see it extends, and when you release, it retracts because it's a single acting cylinder which has a valve, which has a spring in it. And then you release, and when you press this, you can see it resets. So you release this, you press this, it starts counting. At the count of 3, you can see contact is being made, and this pressure air goes into the hydraulic, and pressure air goes into the pneumatic DCV, and the pressure air goes into the pneumatic DCV. When you press this button right here, you can see it extends and it retracts, and then you release. When you press this, it resets. So right here, this is the operation of the pneumatic counter. All you have to do is just drag and paste, and then we move into the next operation, which is a sequence operation. So we're going to operate the cylinder automatically. So we drag and paste double acting cylinder and your DCV, which should be a 5-way to position directional control valve. And the pressure source and the exhaust as well. Double click to add its features. We're going to choose a solenoid, not a solenoid with a spring, YV1. YV2, this is YV2, and then confirm, and then you connect the source and the exhaust. So on this pneumatic cylinder, we're going to add some positioning labels. So right here on the options here, you choose positioning label, and then SQ1 at length of 0 because that's the starting point, and SQ2 at length of 125. Which is the maximum point, and then save, and then connect. And next we move into the electrical component. So this is a self-locking button. I'm gonna give it SB3. We're going to choose a solenoid valve. This is a YV2, and this is YV1, and this is a SQ1. and SQ2. So this serves as the micro switch SQ1 and SQ2. And connection is being made. And the next one I want to do is to press the play and you run the operation. So you can see it extends by itself. Something seems to be wrong here, and the next one I want to do is to check this directional control valve. So this seems to be wrong due to the pressure source. We added two pressure sources instead of one pressure source and two exhausts. So you have to make sure these components are placed in a proper way. You have to make sure they're well positioned. And then we try again. You can see when you press the extend and retract. Here you can see this is an Autorun operation. When you press the self-locking button, which is the SB1, SB3 button, it operates in the auto. You can see when you press this, so we're going to the next operation. So we're going to use two buttons. Instead of one button, we're going to use two buttons to operate a single double acting cylinder. But this is not an auto operation. So add the throttle valve. Then reduce the degree of opening 40, YV1, YV2, and replace it with SB1, SB2 button. And then change these positions. We don't need them anymore. So this is a 2-button operation to control double acting cylinder. You can see when you press this, it extends slowly and it stops there, and when you press this, it retracts. So this YV1 solenoid controls this solenoid. So it changes the direction when you press this SB1 button, and when you press SB2, it changes direction as well. You can see when you press SB1, it extends, and when you press XP2, it retracts. Right here, this is the operation of 2 buttons to control double acting cylinder extension and retraction with this double solenoid DCV. And then we'll move into the next operation, which is the OR valve. We're going to use the OR valve. So we've got the single acting cylinder, drag and paste. And then DCV. We're going to choose a 3-way to position directional control valve, and then we choose the OR valve as well. We should choose a 2-way to position directional control valve. And add its features. Pressure sources, drag and connect. So we add features to this. We don't really need to add features to this, we just have to connect exhaust. So these two DCVs right here, this button controls this, and as well this one controls this as well. So it's either this or this. It's either this DCV or this DCV is going to control the pneumatic system. When we play and we run this operation, you can see when you press this, it extends. When you release, it retracts because of the spring right here. It retracts by itself, return to its initial position, and it loses contact, and the single acting cylinder retracts due to the spring in this cylinder. Due to the spring in the cylinder, it retracts. When you press this, you can see it extends, and we release, it returns to its initial position due to the spring right here. As well, the cylinder return to its it retracts and return to its initial position due to the spring in it. So we'll move into the next operation, which is an auto sequence operation. So right here, this operation, we're going to use two cylinders to operate. We've got the first cylinder, which has the labels of SQ1 and SQ2, and the second cylinder as well. We have a label of SQ3 and SQ4. So we label this SQ1 and SQ2, length of 125, and as well this SQ3 at length of 0, and SQ4 at length of 125. Next, what I want to do is to add the DCVs. So we can add a 5-way 2-position directional control valve. And then we add its features. YV1, and YV2. As well, we're going to add a center type. So we're going to add close center. So this is a close center type, and then as well, this you add its features. YV3 and YV4. Center type, close center, and then press. So this time around, we're going to add a silencer. So the silencer and the exhaust all do the same function, just the exhaust has a different function, which is to reduce the noise, but they both serve the same function, which is to release the pressure air into the atmosphere. Next, you want to do is to add the electrical component. SB1. Relay terminal, which is a K1 terminal. The relay coil as well, K1, and SB2 button. We're going to add a position switch. So this should be SQ3. And normal close, SQ2, and the solenoid valve to the YV1. SQ2, SQ4, normal close, and the terminal relay coil. This should be a solenoid valve. Yeah, should be a solenoid valve. Should be a YV3.
连不上的，这怎么可能连不上的？这个 POC 什么的，试是不出来的。
咱们先讲一下这个 POC。它这个就是说，它这里有见过编程，这个103里面，这个毛片儿，你看这些变量都在这里。这个是机器人做的，有吸盘的状态，然后机器人输出的情况，就是还有一些给机器人的输入情况。
This is normal open SQ4. Normal close should be a SQ1. And the relay coil, no solenoid valve, should be a YV2. I'll add one more position switch, the SQ1. And this is a YV4. And then connect yeah, these are all connected. Next, I want to do is to test this to see if it's properly connected. Press the button. It's not coming up, so next I want to do is to check what's going on. So you can check this key right here. This SP2 button right here is open, so there is no current flowing through. So you change this to a normal close. and then also you can see when you press this, it operates. So the first cylinder runs and the second cylinder as well follows. So you can see SQ1, SQ2 operate, and SQ2 operates. SQ3 and 4 as well operates. You can see cylinder 1 extends and cylinder 2 as well extends. When it retracts, cylinder 2 as well retracts. So you can see right here, this is a auto sequence operation. So you can see it operates in sequence. Cylinder 1 extends, and then cylinder 2 as well extends, cylinder 1 retracts, and cylinder 2 as well retracts. So you can see this is the on button and this is off button. So when you press this, you can see it stops. And then stops and current stops flowing through. You can see on and off, it operates in sequence. So we could as well look at one more operation, which is Autorun Operation. One solenoid and one relay coil. The next we want to do add the pneumatic component, drag and paste. I'm going to drag a throttle valve. So I'm going to add the features of this. YV1, and then a spring as well on the other end. And I'm going to reduce the degree of opening 70, or perhaps I could reduce it to 50, and then this 100. Then you have the pressure sources, the exhaust, the dryer, the lubrication, the pressure gauge, Next one I want to do is to drag the pneumatic, the electric component and paste as well. So we're going to use just one solenoid and one relay coil. SQ2, normal close, SQ1, normal open, and then we add one button as well, self-locking button. K1 as well. This is a K1 relay coil. And we added one more coil, one more relay terminal, should be labeled K1. I'll add one solenoid valve, which should be YV1. Next, you want to do is to run this operation. Press play, and when you press this button right here, you can see it extends and it retracts by itself. So right here we've got the micro switches SQ1 and SQ2. And you can see it extends at a slow rate and retract at a faster rate to see the degree of opening of the throttle valve. This is the Autorun as well, using one solenoid valve and one relay coil with two throttle valves. These are the features of the pneumatic component. You can try other features as well. We've got the hydraulic component, we've got the electric component, which works good. Thank you.